Remember last year we had Gary Smith of the Gary Smith Agency come in and be on the show, talk about the different services they provide as far as insurance is concerned, group insurance for small businesses, Medicare. Well, they are now over in Jackson County to better serve the folks here in the Jackson County area. Pascagoula, they are got a brand new location, and that's where we are today. Gary, how are you?
Doing good.
This is nice.
Thank you, thank you.
This is really nice.
We're very proud. It was been a long time coming.
Mm-hmm. What made you decide to move over here?
Well, we wanted to be across from the Pascagoula Senior Center. Mm-hmm. We had the opportunity to get here. We were growing out of our location on Market Street. It was just becoming a problem with all the new HIPAA rules. We need to have a little more privacy for our customers, more professional office environment. And so the overall environment we think is just going to be a much suitable for the future of growing and handling the Medicare customers.
Now, as you said, this is much bigger than the location that you had. I think what you said, you had like 1,500 square feet then? And
we were right around 1,500 at the old location, and we're right at 3,200.
Wow, so you just pretty much doubled it.
We doubled the size and actually created individual offices where we can now meet with our customers one-on-one.
That's so much better.
Versus bringing them into your workplace and working where you have to deal with all the HIPAA and of course, the noise and confusion of a working office.
The HIPAA gets a little bit sticky.
So we were very pleased to be able to get this up and running, back in, we were hopefully to try to get in by August, and we did. So we were very pleased about that.
Well, good. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take a walk back to one of the conference rooms and talk more about the services that they provide here at the Gary Smith Agency. Gary, let's talk about some of the things we have in the past, kind of refresh people's memories.
Sure.
Like about, one of the big things that you deal with, Medicare
Absolutely.
Insurance.
Right. Yeah, one of our main focuses here is going to be our Medicare products. That is the area that is most confusing for all of our retirees, whether you're 62 and thinking about retiring, or if you work past 65 and now you're 67 and your wife is now 65. And you're now ready to retire because you couldn't afford to retire because her health insurance was $900.
Well, see, now you're hitting close to home with me, and we've had this discussion before.
Absolutely.
Because I'll be 62 in September.
That's right.
Now, I will say my wife is 15 years younger than I am, so it'd be a while before she gets close to that age. So there's some decisions to be made there. Do I want to retire at 62?
That's right.
And start drawing Medicare? Though, my Social Security will you take a hit, so to speak.
Absolutely.
So some of the things that I have to consider.
And we had a gentleman come in here about 3 weeks ago. His wife was now 64 3/4 basically, and his COBRA ran out.
Wow.
And I'm like, when we explained to him what had happened and why and what it was now going to cost for him to insure his wife for 3 months, he's like, man, if I'd have known that, I'd have worked another 3 months.
Yeah.
Then because we stress to people, give us a call basically, and let's talk about your retirement, because we don't want you to retire and then be in a situation where if you could have worked another 2 months, where your COBRA would have taken your wife to her 65th birthday, and it makes the transition just a lot smoother and easier.
Right.
And most people would work another 2 months.
Oh, excuse me. I'd definitely work another 2 months for that if I had to. I think I figured it out. Chart you have to go to online.
Absolutely.
I've got to work till like I'm 66 in a few months or something like that.
For your full, so-called full retirement.
Full retirement for Social Security.
And I'm glad you brought that up. We had a conversation yesterday about this, and there's a huge confusion between full retirement and getting your full Social Security check. For the individual out there in the public, the full retirement age means you can work and make as much money as you want without now paying the Social Security penalties that they charge you.
Right.
67 is when you actually get your full check. Now, a lot of people think they get the full check at 65, and that's actually not the case. You get your full check at 67. So you bring up the full retirement. So for someone who was working full time, you don't want to draw your check at 65, because essentially anything over $15,000, the government deems you dollar for dollar.
Right. That was nice.
That's right.
You have a limit at which you can make.
Once you hit full retirement, which for you is going to be 66 and a half, you can make as much money you want. So that's a critical point for people, that a lot of times they get that confused with 67.
Wow.
Which is why we tell people, please give us a call.
That's smart. That's very, because that all that is confusing to me as well regarding this. But there's the laws are changing all the time.
They change monthly.
Really?
Especially with the ending of the Trump administration, with the Obama administration going into the Trump administration, the rules were literally in limbo every 30 to 60 days because of the situation with Obamacare and the rules that are associated with how that affects the seniors. Does it affect us? How does it affect you as a 62, 63-year-old retiree? So until the administration does something, Congress does something, we're still going to be having a lot of questions come up on a monthly basis for retirees getting ready to turn 65, getting ready to go into their Medicare.
Wow.
So it's a very challenging time. And then, of course, now you're eligible. What are you going to buy? Are you going to buy a Medicare supplement or are you going to buy a Medicare Advantage? And then what about your drugs? Most people don't realize how the drug plan works because you've been covered under Ingalls, the hospital, Mississippi Power, Chevron, so you've never dealt with the Medicare drug plan. And as I tell somebody, it's an apple and a rotten banana. It's not an apples and apples comparison if you're trying to compare it to your group health insurance that you have as far as your drug benefit goes. So we really like to talk to people 90 to 160 days out if we can, because a lot of times they need to go back to their doctor and say, hey doc, you need to get me off this medication. It actually is running me a $40 copay at Chevron or at the hospital, but now it's going to cost me $300-400 on the Medicare program.
Wow.
And so they wait to the last minute. You then don't have time to. You're rushed. You don't have time to get to your doctor. Think about the meds you're taking because you never had this conversation before.
So 3 or 4 months before
turning 65 or your retirement date. So if you're thinking about retiring at 66 and a half because your wife is now 65, we would please call us a good 60, 80, 120 days out versus coming in here 2 weeks for your retirement date.
Wow.
We can handle it, but you're going to be under the gun to get your Medicare in effect. Talk to your doctor if you got a drug issue we got to deal with. Make sure we got the right, because in the drug program we've got right now 17 drug plans. And just because it's a tier 1 under Humana does not mean it's going to be a tier 1 under AARP. AARP may not even cover the drug you're taking. So really it's just a totally different ballgame compared to what people are used to that are coming off of their groups.
Wow. Now, I know we only talked about the Medicare stuff, and there's other things that y'all do too, which we don't have time to talk about.
That's right.
If you'd like to find out, go to their website, GarySmithAgency.net, GarySmithAgency.net, and you'll find out more about it and exactly, make an appointment. Get over here and see them on Oak Street.
We're on Live Oak, change to Dr. Reuben P. Morris.